at Silverstone by Nina Farina. 1,000 later, Alain Prost waves the checkered flag as Lewis Hamilton wins race 1,000 here in Shanghai, China.
Mercedes then get a 1-2 in the opening 3 races of the year. The first time since 1957 that has been accomplished. The last team to do that was Mercedes as well, with Fangio and Moss. Lewis Hamilton, 2 in a row, and winner for race 1000. Welcome to the 3rd Grand Review podcast. So Formula 1 journeys to Shanghai this week for the 3rd round of the 2019 FIA Formula 1 World Championship, the Chinese Grand Prix. There is an air of celebration here at the circuit as the momentous occasion in Formula 1's history for the 1000th race in the championship's 70-year history. It's the 16th running of the Chinese Grand Prix after the 2004 race, and we come here with Valtteri Bottas still leading the Drivers' Championship on 44 points, and he leads it with that one extra fastest lap bonus point he got in Australia. Otherwise, him and Lewis Hamilton would have actually been level on points coming to China after Bottas victorious in Australia and Hamilton victorious in Bahrain. Max Verstappen is 3rd at 27 points. He is 2 ahead of Charles Leclerc, who finished on the podium last time out. It should have really been the victory though. Moving further down, we've got Sebastian Vettel 5th, Kimi Raikkonen 6th, Lando Norris is in 7th place as well. And if we drop further down as well, it's only 5 drivers without any points. Antonio Giovinazzi, George Russell, Robert Kubica, surprisingly Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz and Romain Grosjean, who's the only driver not to finish both races so far this season. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes lead the way. 44 points in Australia, 43 points in Bahrain. That makes 87 in total. Screaming Ferrari second on 48. Aston Martin Red Bull Racing are on 31. And then we get Alfa Romeo 4th, best of the rest, on 10 points. McLaren are on 8, the same with Rich Energy has F1. Renault has 6. Red Bull Toro Rosso Honda has 3, the same as the Racing Point team, but Williams in 10th with no World Championship points. So it was Bottas victorious in Australia, Lewis Hamilton victorious in Bahrain. We're in China now for the 1000th Formula 1 Grand Prix. 2 weeks time, it's Azerbaijan, followed by Spain and Monaco, a trip to North America for Canada, and back to Europe for 3 races in France, Austria and Great Britain, before heading to Germany and Hungary in August for the summer break, back to Belgium and Italy, and then the flyaways in Singapore, one more brief stop off in what is technically Europe and Russia, followed by Japan, and then the Americas with Mexico, USA, Brazil, and the last race in the desert in Abu Dhabi in December. Hello everyone and welcome to the Grand Review podcast, and first of all we've got to say that I'm very disappointed with one member of the team. Now I was ill over the weekend in China as well. I managed to do the race though, but my co-commentator Megan has since got ill herself and has not been able to do the broadcast. She's here on walkie-talkie, but I don't think we've got no walkie-talkie with her, but she has left her driver ratings and her opinions of the race, so I've got someone new alongside for the podcast. You've heard him in the commentary in Bahrain. It's my father. Hello, Dad. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. I'll tell you what, though. Megan has been quite bad over the weekend and the first part of the week. She couldn't even go to school. She loves school.
Indeed, but more fun for us because now we get a little bit of chatting around. It's like what we used to do back in, 2008?
Yeah, well, you can't shut me up usually.
No, I'm thankful that this year we've got a mute button, but we're not showing the box anymore. You're in here and I'm in the garage.
Yeah, I mean, and I watch everything. Like the news, when they do the news, that Giovinazzi becomes the first driver this season to get a penalty, an engine penalty, because of his, I think it's his ECU unit, has blown for the 3rd time, and so he needs a new one.
Yeah, already not going to go well with the Baku race, because that's not great either, because it's such a long circuit and you can overtake but can't overtake. Let's look back then at the Chinese Grand Prix. Start with what happened going into the weekend. Race 1000. Hamilton and Bottas were pretty much level on points. Bottas 44, Hamilton 43. The only reason Bottas was ahead because he got that fastest lap point in Australia. You said in Australia that fastest lap bonus would be key. And it turned out it is, because now, after Bahrain, Hamilton's won one, Bottas has won one, both first and second. It's going to be key here in China.
Yeah, but it was designed for the midfielders to get points, and but the leaders like Vettel and Hamilton realise there's 21 points a season up for grabs or whatever it is, and really, I don't like it.
I'm not a fan of it either. It does provide some interesting racing, but it won't work at Azerbaijan and it won't work at Monaco.
They've been doing it in one of the lower formulas, like GP2 and GP3, for years. And the only thing I've noticed is it does spice up the end of the race. Right, whereas they turn the engines down and they just motor to the end sometimes. Now they're turning the engines up and going for the fastest lap just to get that thing. Although I believe at the last Grand Prix it went to one of the midfielders.
Oh, you've put me on it there. I think who got it last time was Pierre Gasly. So Gasly got it, in the Red Bull, but he wasn't running in the top six, as we're going to discuss that round.
He didn't come in the top six at all, because Gasly has been he's sometimes like Ricciardo has been at Renault. It takes a long time for drivers to get used to the braking points of a new car, and Gasly has come up from Toro Rosso into the Red Bull, and it's like going from
junior school to primary school,
Audi to a Jaguar. It's a much different beast, isn't it?
Definitely, and especially this year with Red Bull themselves having to get used to a Honda engine after using Renault last year. So, race 1000 then. Now, we've got to get this right, because there's been a lot of criticism that it was actually race 974, whatever it was. It's the 1000th World Championship Grand Prix. And what that means is it's the 1000th event that is counted towards the world title. Now, that does also include the 1960s IndyCar 500 races, but it's Indy 500, but it is not really counting, but it does count, so it's weird. I think you're right. Jim Clark and Graham Hill, the only drivers to win from Formula One.
Yeah, no, I think the others have done since.
But when they went for
I mean, some of the American drivers, like Mario and that.
Mario's won it, yeah. I think he might be the last.
Mario's won both F1 and Indy 500.
I think Mansell never won, did he?
Yeah, Mansell won the title, but I don't think. But he won it last year, Sato.
Yeah, Sato won it, and then Rossi won it as well.
Yeah, Rossi's great this season.
No, well, that's it. That's in the IndyCar. I haven't actually seen IndyCar from Long Beach, but I do know he won it. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Right, let's get on then to... Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Three of them at the start decided to... There's this... as you come down the Bay Road type thing, you come to this little circle, a roundabout, with a Eros or something on the top of it. And and with all plants in Formula One checkered flag, and they decided that the three of them would actually park on there rather than, and one was left in the middle of the track, and one was up the rear of the other one, and that one was destroying the flowers.
Bit of gardening there. I haven't actually seen that race yet. I will now watch it after the podcast. Let's go on to free practice one then. An interesting day on Thursday ahead of the drivers' press conference. Not everybody turned up that they were supposed to. But ahead of race 1000, everybody said, what livery would you have liked to have run with? And how has race 1000 going to affect your mentality? The only one that made me laugh was Alexander Albon, who said that the livery he wanted to run was the pig livery from Porsche in World Endurance, to run a different sport livery. That's something that tickled me. But free practice one got underway on Friday morning in an unusually sunny China day. Let's get in then to what happened in free practice 1 for the Chinese Grand Prix. Race number 1000 got underway in Shanghai. It's also the China's 16th Formula 1 race and their event here as well. Sebastian Vettel topped the timesheets in FP1 with a 1:33.911 on the medium tyres, which has suggested to many that maybe the pace that they showed in the second test of pre-season testing in Barcelona, that they didn't show in Australia but did show in Bahrain, maybe they really have got some pace in that car to set the fastest time in the first session on the medium tyre. We'll see what happens in FP2. Lance Stroll had a half spin coming out of turn 15, and it's very similar to Antonio Giovinazzi's 2 spins back in 2017. He just got the power on a bit too early after the corner and got on the AstroTurf, locked the rears, and a little bit of a skid as well. Giovinazzi himself missed the session after the car failed, and emergency work had to be done before free practice 2. Let's now take a look at the times from the first practice session. So Sebastian Vettel topped the first practice session for the Chinese Grand Prix at 1:33.911. Lewis Hamilton second at 1:34.118. Charles Leclerc third at 1:34.167. Max Verstappen was in fourth at 1:34.334. Valtteri Bottas fifth at 1:34.653. Daniel Ricciardo sixth at 1:35.239, followed by Pierre Gasly seventh at 1:35.428. Danny Kvyat was eighth at 1:35.447. Lance Stroll ninth at 1:35.466, and Romain Grosjean in the top 10 at 1:35.507. Kevin Magnussen 11th, 1:35.517, followed by Nico Hülkenberg in 12th at 1:35.591. Lando Norris 13th at 1:35.631. Alexander Albon in 14th place at 1:35.695. Kimi Räikkönen 15th, 1:35.729. Carlos Sainz 16th, 1:35.756. Sergio Perez 17th, 1:35.820. Robbie Kubica 18th, 1:36.847. And George Russell 19th at 1:37.619. Antonio Giovinazzi 2 laps but no time. So Vettel was fastest in the first practice session at 1:33.911. Medium tyres surprised everybody. But we were just saying, you liked how the different helmets that they were allowed to choose for this event.
Yeah, I mean, as I was just saying, the some of the designs, Lewis's was a really good one, and I think Ricardo's was plain and to the point.
Yeah, it's a helmet.
Yeah, but that's even one of the Alfa Romeo drivers had a really ornate one, and I think he actually did it himself.
Yeah, I think that wasn't more. It wasn't Raikkonen. I think it was Giovinazzi then. I think it was Giovinazzi who had that. Oh, no, that was another thing as well that got into FP2 with Ted Kravitz. He went up to the box for the first time and had a go at Crofty because Crofty calls him Giovinazzi, and everyone else calls him Giovinazzi. It's different. It's different pronunciations. Do you actually know what it is, Adam?
Well, he's Italian, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it's Giovinazzi.
I haven't been saying it wrong then. It is Giovinazzi. Yeah, I've been liking how, because it's been banned in recent years, hasn't it? You only get one driver change of helmets per year. Back to that topic. And everyone does it sort of at their home Grand Prix. But I like the refreshing change of seeing drivers in different helmets. I mean, you can't see them nowadays because of the halos, so you may as well. Let's get on to free practice 2 then. Friday afternoon, the clouds came over, but the track temperature dropped dramatically, and it caused problems for the two Mercedes. So we'll move on to free practice 2 then in the afternoon. Another 90-minute session. But it was on the first lap out of the pits that Lewis Hamilton lost the rear of the car coming into the long turn 3 right-hander complex. You dropped down to second gear at that point in order to save your tyres. But for Lewis, he went for a little bit of a spin with his tyres. The rears this year heated just 80 degrees, not the standard 100 that we saw in previous, so the drivers got to do an extra bit of work, but it was costing Lewis, and he had a spin and flat spotted those tyres. His teammate Valtteri Bottas on his first flying lap also had a spin coming into turn 1, doing exactly the same thing as Lewis Hamilton. It was, however, Valtteri Bottas who was top in that session. He went 0.9 seconds quicker than Sebastian Vettel in the morning session. Bottas' time was a 1:33.330. Vettel was held up by the racing point of Perez, and the Ferrari team came on the radio, and I'm quoting here, said, "Yes, we are reporting it now." to which is wrong, as it's a free practice session, and Sergio Perez can do whatever he likes, to which Sebastian Vettel knew and came back on the radio quoting saying, no, he can do what he wants, it's just that they race harder on Friday than they do on Sunday. Bit of a harsh criticism, but then again, Racing Point have been up there recently. But also remember, Vettel probably laps them. That's why they get out of his way. They've got blue flags. Moving on, Charles Leclerc was put out of the session with 30 minutes to go as he had a coolant leak in his Ferrari. It was a bad day for the Haas duo of Kevin Magnussen. He went wide at turn 10, and at a braking point, he broke the floor and ripped off the rear tyres as well. And then for Romain Grosjean as well, he suffered a front wing failure, but luckily it just sort of snapped at the bottom and it didn't fly off like we saw with Vettel in Bahrain. It was also lucky for Kevin Magnussen not to hit Robert Kubica coming out of turn 14. Kubica went wide, Magnussen nearly drove right into the back of him. An eventful session, but it was Bottas from Vettel and Verstappen in the top three. Let's take a look at the times in full for the Chinese Grand Prix Free Practice 2. So Valtteri Bottas topped the second practice session at 1:33.330. Sebastian Vettel was second, Max Verstappen third, Lewis Hamilton fourth, Nico Hülkenberg was fifth, Carlos Sainz sixth, Charles Leclerc seventh, Lando Norris eighth, Daniel Ricciardo ninth, and Pierre Gasly rounding out the top 10. Kimi Raikkonen 11th, Alexander Albon is 12th, Tony Kvyat 13th, Lance Stroll 14th, Sergio Perez 15th, 16th Kevin Magnussen, Romain Grosjean 17th, Antonio Giovinazzi making up for lost time in FP1 by going 18th, and then Robert Kubica 19th and George Russell in 20th. So it was again a Ferrari dominance on Friday, but bad for Mercedes. Hamilton spinning at turn 3, losing the rear tyres. Same goes for Bottas, turn 1, cold tyres causing problems again. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, the tyres, aren't they? The tyre warmers were 100 degrees, but now they're 80 degrees.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to bring up as well. That drop, just 20 degrees, especially on the rear. And these Formula 1 cars are rear-wheel drive. So just that much, and it's costing them too much. It's why we see so much smoke now on the parade laps, because they need to get the heat in. But coming out of the pit lane on slow laps, it's not good enough.
Yeah, but F2, GP3... IndyCar, they don't use them.
And what does that say? What do we get better racing in Formula 2 and Formula 3 at the moment? Because we've got, well, not Formula 3 and Cine yet, but Formula 2, we've got the cold tyres and they go off quicker.
Well, that's why they light up on coming out the pits in IndyCar, because of the fact that they put in some stickiness into the tyre.
I liked the idea a few years ago when we heard that they were going to get rid of tyre warmers in F1, because I thought, we might actually see some wheel spinning in the pit lane for a change. But we're not going to see that for ages, and it's getting to the point where tyre warmers aren't going to be needed, and I like that. Let's go on then to Saturday. Oh god, Saturday for me was a bad day, and Sunday was even worse. I missed the last 10 minutes of Free Practice 3, because it was during the night. It was a night shift one, so Megan wasn't commentating, so I was. You know where we commentate from. So we commentate outside now in a garage set up for a commentary box. That we got it all done up, got all the box in there. So I'm about 30 metres from the house at the best time to get in. So I was sick in the commentary box at FP3. I had to run out upstairs to the bathroom, and I missed the last 10 minutes of the session. And what happened? It was the biggest crash of the season so far. Not great. And I had to wake you up as well, actually.
Yeah, and I have to de-rig.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Getting all the equipment back into the house is not Joshua's favourite thing.
No, it's not. It wasn't my favourite thing when you're not very well either. So here's what we haven't taken this from the broadcast now of the YouTube show. We've re-recorded this, but I was not very well at all during Saturday. So here's the FP3 report and the times as well. But we're going to get on with what happened in Free Practice 3, because it was an interesting session from what I saw of it. I've had to go back and watch it because I missed about 15 minutes of it when I had to run out as well. But Valtteri Bottas topped the session, a 1:32.830, 11 laps completed. Again, that Mercedes looking strong. He was fastest in FP2 as well. Vettel, Leclerc showing some of the pace that they had in pre-season testing. They're looking quite strong as well. Hamilton 4th and Hülkenberg 5th, so that's a nice strong I don't want to say round out, but it is sort of a round out for them. It's a nice strong field. The only real drama in that session, well, we'll start off with the big one. Alexander Albon finished 9th in the session on 134.6. However, with about 6 minutes to go, came out at the last corner, got on the AstroTurf. The car zigzagged almost, spat him towards the left-hand side, which is towards the barrier, hit the barrier, knocked off the front wheel, destroyed the rear of the car as well, and put him out of not only FP3, but it would also put him out of qualifying. We'll get on to that later on as well. But not a nice day for Alexander Albon at this circuit, and luckily he was able to walk away from that accident perfectly okay. A little bit of a crisscross between the Alpha teammates Kimi Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi coming out of the pit lane and down the start-finish straight. Giovinazzi was sort of very slow compared to Raikkonen, and they almost made contact, so not really a great run for them today. But going into qualifying, it's all looking quite strong, and to be honest, we know that 20th on the grid will start Alexander Albon if he doesn't start from the pit lane. But we know that it's going to be the Williams at the back, and they were at the back anyway, with 19th in FP3 with George Russell and 20th for Robert Kubica as well. But let's take a look at the times then from the third practice session. So Valtteri Bottas was fastest on 132.830. Sebastian Vettel was second on 133.222. Charles Leclerc third on 133.248. Lewis Hamilton fourth on 133.689. Then Nico Hülkenberg is fifth on 133.974. Kimi Raikkonen sixth on 134.246. Followed by Max Verstappen seventh on 134.447. Carlos Sainz 8th on 134.510. Alexander Albon crashed but is in 9th place on a 134.6. Then we get Danny Kvyat in 10th, Lando Norris 11th, Sergio Perez 12th, Danny Ricciardo 13th, Lance Stroll 14th, Pierre Gasly 15th, Antonio Giovinazzi 16th, Romain Grosjean 17th, Kevin Magnussen 18th. Then we get 19th for George Russell and 20th for Robert Kubica. Yep, so FP3 went well. I didn't see it, but I think the biggest thing was Albon's crash. I saw it after. You saw it though. And he just sort of lost the rear of the car and into the wall. And is that the problem with either the tyres going off too quick or the AstroTurf holding the water?
AstroTurf is always, you keep off the AstroTurf because it's slippery, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Right then, qualifying. I was able to do qualifying. And it was a fantastic qualifying session because Ferrari finally came up to the mark. However, Mercedes were already there. Let's take a look at what happened in qualifying. So let's start then with the qualifying report and go, as we always do, from the back of the grid to the front. And we'll start in qualifying 1, where drivers required to start from the pit lane is number 23 Alexander Albon. After his massive accident in free practice 3 where he destroyed the rear of the car, he unfortunately decided not to run in the session because the entire Toro Rosso needed to be replaced with a brand new chassis. That means that he's got to be homologated by the FIA in the morning, so he is allowed to start, but he can't take part in qualifying, so he starts from the pit lane. Moving on then to the back of the grid, Antonio Giovinazzi also given permission to start by the stewards. He didn't set a time in qualifying and starts 19th on the grid. It means that for the first time this year that Williams aren't at the back of the grid because we've got Robert Kubica 18th on row 9 along with George Russell in 17th, and they were in an interesting battle between themselves. Just 31 hundredths of a second really separated them, so absolutely fantastic racing between them. We've then got Lance Stroll 16th, again not performing in that racing point, as well as his teammate Sergio Perez who managed 12th, but Stroll again struggling in the racing point, and it's disappointing to see. Lando Norris was eliminated as well as we go into qualifying 2 now. Lando Norris was eliminated and starts 15th on the grid. His first time he's actually failed to get through to Q3 in his 2-race career. Carlos Sainz is 14th, Kimi Raikkonen 13th, eliminated as well. That's not great news for them at all. Both of the Alphas out of, not one of them into qualifying 3 for the first time this year. We've then got Sergio Perez starting 12th on the grid, and Danny Kvyat in 11th place as well. Look out for him tomorrow to have a strong race, Kvyat. He does love this place. Remember the torpedo back in 2014. Q3 then, and it's 2x2. The 2 Hasses on row 5. Romain Grosjean starts 10th. Kevin Magnussen starts 9th. A strong qualifying for them. They've got some pace around this circuit. Surprisingly so have Renault. Both cars into qualifying 3. They start on row number 4. Hülkenberg 8th and Ricciardo in 7th. Row 3 is the two Red Bulls. Gasly finally getting up into qualifying 3 for the first time this year, finally showing his pace to teammate Max Verstappen in 5th place. Row 2, Charles Leclerc is starting 4th. 2 weeks ago, pole sitter in Bahrain. He's alongside his teammate Sebastian Vettel, who's 3rd. And the front row is dominated by Lewis Hamilton in 2nd and Valtteri Bottas in 1st, who has blitzed the lap record again, a 1:31.547. A truly spectacular time. So let's take a look at the grid in full then, from front to back, for the 1000th Grand Prix here in China. So it's Valtteri Bottas who is on pole position from Lewis Hamilton in 2nd. Row 2, Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc. Row 3, Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly. Row 4, Daniel Ricciardo and Nico Hülkenberg. And Row 5, Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean. Row 6 sees Dani Kvyat and Sergio Perez. Row 7, Kimi Raikkonen and Carlos Sainz. Row 8, Lando Norris and Lance Stroll. Row 9, George Russell and Robert Kubica. And Row 10 sees Antonio Giovinazzi. Drivers required to start from the pit lane, Alexander Albon. So the start then of race 1000, the Chinese Grand Prix in the 3rd race of the year. Megan was with us for that one, so you listened to the commentary. You were up at the race control watching all the race. How did you think Megan did? Because I was ill that morning. In fact, would you like to tell the story of what happened 20 minutes before the start of the race when I wasn't even in the commentary box, and how bad I looked in that commentary?
Well, I've been ill and Megan's been ill, and it's just something that it wasn't chocolate.
No, it wasn't chocolate.
Wasn't the fact that it was your birthday either.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that. But honestly, I got up 10 minutes before the start of the pre-show, and I thought, there's no way I'm going to do this. And it took me until 5 minutes before the start of the broadcast for the commentary to get into the commentary box, sit down, and then think to myself, how on earth am I going to do this? And I realised that when it came to the start, the adrenaline took over. And I think that's where we need to pick up from the start. So let's go through it then. The Chinese Grand Prix, the 1000th race, commentary came from myself, Joshua Birch, Megan Birch, and guess who? My father, Ian Birch. The 3 commentators. We're getting a habit of this, aren't we, as a nice trio family? Here we go then, the Chinese Grand Prix.
The Chinese Grand Prix, race 1000, formation lap.
And we've had a spinner already, and that's Pierre Gasly, who is used to be. No, that was Verstappen spinning. So one more with Gasly. So Verstappen's already had a spin, and that was done when we were saying how he should have had really his sensible hat on. He's gone for a spin already. That is a spinning rear tyre of Robert Kubica in the Williams, and that's in the back straight. So this could cause a delayed start. Let's have a look, Megan. What happened? Take us through it. Oh, it's turn 6.
Oh. Well, I think he just turns too much.
Rear tyres not at temperature.
Lap 1.
This is F1000. Bottas is on pole position on the right-hand side of your picture. On the left is Lewis Hamilton. All the cars have lined up on the grid. The green flag flies. The red lights will illuminate. And when they go out, F1000 will be underway. Here we go, folks. And it's action for 1000. And it's a great start by Hamilton. But Vettel and Leclerc had a better launch. Bottas got a poor launch. Vettel going round the outside. Hamilton leads into turn 1. Leclerc up to 3rd place as well. Verstappen going to get the undercut from Gasly. Oh, they're close to contact. Hamilton leads from Bottas, from Leclerc, from Vettel. The 2 Red Bulls go side by side. I think Verstappen's reached the place. Gasly's been forced back down as well as they head down towards the heavy braking zone. Turn number 6, down to 2nd gear. This is where we usually see contact. A few cars dicing for position. First of 56 laps, remember? And Megan have all behaved themselves quite well.
Yeah, though.
Oh no, we've got a car nearly over to McLaren, and it's both the McLarens involved, but I think that's Lando Norris who went for a little skip through the air, so he's already out of the race with a broken rear suspension. Nico Hülkenberg throws it up the inside of Sergio Perez to get back 7th place as well. Giovinazzi's past Russell as well. Kvyat up to 17th place. Hamilton, though, leads the way from Bottas, and no sign of a safety car.
Replay.
So, virtual safety car called. Okay, so this is going to slow the pack down.
It's starting.
Drivers must...
Prediction.
Yeah, so it's not a full safety car, it's a virtual safety car. So the drivers will slow down to, 40% of their over pace speed, so they will slow down and the virtual safety car is out. But on my timing screen it's saying full safety car, and that's why we got confused. But it is virtual safety car. Talk us through it, Megan.
Okay, so everyone gets a good start apart from Bottas, who just falls around a bit. Though, to be honest, I still think that he's been had a word with someone else, and both Ferraris get to a good start, just Leclerc a bit better, and everyone's really, really good. Now we're on board with Max Verstappen. He has an amazing start, keeping his own position as well as his teammate did. Seeing all the action that goes on in front, thinking, okay, I have a chance to pass over these, so I'll wait until later on and try to get Vettel like last year. He didn't really get him like last year, otherwise he would be out right now. Kvyat and Norris had a really bad starting point by going off track and bashing people up. And to be honest, I think it's more another person in the mix because he kind of started it. See? Norris. He's the one that did it.
Right, Skyris Control. Hello, Dad, over to you.
As you saw from the onboard of Verstappen there, right, he did exactly as I thought he would. He held back because he thought those four would clash.
Lap 11.
And through goes Sebastian Vettel. Vettel is passed. Well, Leclerc's passed by Vettel. And that was a team order. Not nice at all, really. And yet again, Jacques Leclerc not happy with that one.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Vettel doesn't have any potential. He's won 4 championships. Yeah, you have a really good driver in the making here, and you decide, oh yeah, we'll just let the old one through.
I can understand why Leclerc's puzzled, because for the past 3 laps, he's been quicker. Raikkonen replay, going to the inside of Nico Hülkenberg, and up into 9th place. Good move.
I'm not happy.
Oh, team orders again at Ferrari.
Lap 17.
Renault coming into pit lane. Is this to retire? It is to retire. And it's Nico Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg is out of the Chinese Grand Prix on lap 17.
I think they're just thinking it's a pit lane.
Another retirement. 2 in a row after his engine exploded in Bahrain.
Lap 20.
But Verstappen wants to get past Sebastian Vettel.
To be honest,
Look at the photographer, he's ready for it. It's 2018 all over again. He locks up. This time they don't make contact. Vettel comes back side by side. Forces Verstappen onto the grass. But Vettel ran the outside.
Be against the rules.
He's got to move past. While it was 2018 all over again, Verstappen launched up the inside. But this time they didn't end in contact. And there was wheel-to-wheel racing between the two.
I wish it did end in contact.
And Vettel's gone wide and had taken the tighter line, round 2 into 3, dropped down to 2nd gear, get the power of the exit. Vettel's got the better exit. Talk us through it, Megan.
How has he done that?
Launched it. Vettel was expecting it. He didn't take the apex at all. He took a tighter exit and Verstappen really ran out of road. Vettel
How
left his
in
space.
the world did Vettel get back into 4th?
That was unbelievable.
Lap 37.
Mercedes are going to double stack because there's Bottas coming in now. They've got 20 seconds to clear. Now they take off. They put on used set of mediums for Lewis. Away. Here comes Bottas. He gets in. Jackman off. They're going to put on a new set of mediums. So Lewis hasn't got a brand new set of medium tyres left. But guess who did? Valtteri Bottas. Here comes Charles Leclerc. Leclerc comes out, but he's going to be on much fresher tyres. Well, much hotter tyres. Leclerc goes into 2nd place. Hamilton leads. Bottas down to 3rd place now. So the battle is on. Mercedes, Ferrari, as you once said, Megan.
Lap 38 and 39.
Bottas right round the outside of Charles Leclerc. Leclerc holds the inside line and keeps ahead, but how long is Bottas going to get him? Into turn number 16 now. Last corner on the track. Flat out. Down to the line. You've got DRS. One of 3 opportunities opportunities.
Leclerc hasn't even.
Oh, sorry, go on, Megan.
Leclerc hasn't even used his DRS.
He can't. Not while Bottas is behind. Oh, come on, change camera. Direction is terrible here in China. They're really sloppy. Now
Okay, why is the colour discoloured?
we've got into the 1970s disco time as Bottas turns on party mode to get past Charles Leclerc. He dives at the inside. Leclerc blocks him off into turn 6. But he's got the acceleration at the exit. He's got the pace on the tyres. Leclerc, though, has to turn up that engine.
He's gonna come up from behind, and I don't think he's gonna get this next round, though. I hope he gets the next.
I think he'll be down towards turn 12 at the
Yeah.
exit of these two corners.
It's the easiest way to get past the person, and the next corner after that's pretty tricky to get past.
He's turned party mode on. We just saw it when we cut off. And coming now into the turn 12, the tight, twisty turn 11 and then 12 as well. Back off. Full power. Keep the car straight. Open up the DRS. He's going to have it here, isn't he? Opens party mode. Even without the DRS, he's just so much faster. Now he gets the DRS, pulls to the inside line, and gets ahead. Leclerc, though, cuts back, gets in the draft, pulls to the outside. But Bottas takes second.
And Vettel still has the fastest time, though. Congratulations, Bottas. Now just get past your teammate, and I'll be happy.
Lap 43.
Kvyat's out.
No.
Danny Kvyat's out. Running 19th anyway, but that's our second retirement of the Grand Prix. Danny Kvyat retires from the Chinese Grand Prix.
At least I can watch the end of the race.
Lap 56.
Into the last two corners then for Lewis Hamilton. Race 1 was run at Silverstone by Nino Farina. 1,000 later, Alain Prost waves the checkered flag as Lewis Hamilton wins race 1,000 here in Shanghai, China. A dominant race performance from him to take the lead from the start and just be magnificent. It's Bottas second. Mercedes have a 1-2 in all 3 races in Asia.
Next time, round 4, Baku.
So Lewis Hamilton victorious then in the Chinese Grand Prix. And this is the part of the show where usually Megan would give a rating out of 5 for all of the drivers. However, with her not being here, I've got Dad to do it this week. But Megan has already given us a list of the ratings out of 5, so we'll do our usual. And to read out the numbers, it's my father. So here we go then. Lewis Hamilton wins the Chinese Grand Prix Race 1000, makes it a Mercedes 1-2 for the 3rd race running, and wins back-to-back and takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship. Megan's rating was?
4 out of 5.
Valtteri Bottas finished in 2nd place, keeping his title hopes alive going into Azerbaijan.
Keeping his place also as second driver, 3 out of 5.
Nice. Sebastian Vettel finished on the podium as well for the first time since Australia.
Well, Ferrari are backing the wrong guy at the moment because the other one's faster, but Vettel got 2 out of 5 from Megan.
Max Verstappen finished in 4th place as well for Red Bull, the highest place.
She was disappointed with him. She gave him 2 out of 5.
Cool. Charles Leclerc finished in 5th place as well for Ferrari, ordered to hang back and let his teammate through. Ferrari using team orders a bit too early. What was her rating?
Team orders or stupidity because Leclerc was fastest, faster than Vettel. And she gave him 4 out of 5, and I agree with her.
Nice. Pierre Gasly finished in 6th place as well for Red Bull, getting back up there, but he was about a minute off the pace of Hamilton. So Gasly's still got a lot of learning to do. Meg, rating?
Yeah, Megan's rating for that was 3 out of 5, but Gasly, right, he got 3 out of 5 mainly because he got the last lap, otherwise he'd have got 2.
Yeah. Daniel Ricciardo finished in 7th place for Renault. He outperformed his teammate Hülkenberg, that's only because he retired. But a good race for Ricciardo.
Yeah, and he's getting used to the car slowly, and he's getting, he outpaced Hülkenberg in the qualifying, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Megan gave him a rating of 3 out of 5.
Sergio Perez finished in 8th place as well in the Racing Point Force India.
And she gave him a 2.
Kimi Raikkonen was next up. I've lost count. We're in 9th. Here we are. Again, there's 2 points on the board as well. But what was his point? What was Megan's rating?
2 again.
And Alexander Albon scores his first points in Formula One and becomes only the second Thai driver to score points in Formula One. The first was a Prince, and he scored it as well in the first race in Silverstone, so it's quite poetic. What was Megan's rating?
Well, Thai driver by the fact that his mum and dad are things. Albon is actually British, right? He just flies the thingy flag, and that's good on him because he supports his mum and dad's country, and it's he thinks that a lot of that country, and he is vastly improving, and with a difficult situation over the last things, Megan gave him a 3 as well.
Romain Grosjean in 11th place for Rich Energy Haas F1. Disappointing weekend for them as well, just outside the points. What was Megan's rating?
Well, Megan's rating was a poor one for Grosjean because he can do a lot better. But then again, his little lad will tell him that because his little 11-year-old lad always tells him when he's done badly, and he did badly in this race. We gave him a 2.
12th place then on the grid for Lance Stroll, once his highest of the year so far for Racing Point, but needs to improve, the paid driver, or Daddy's boy as we call him.
Well, Lance, the thing about Lance is that I know he can drive because of F3, right? He might be a rich boy, and he might be one of the best dressed guys in Formula One because of his dad's clothing manufacturing companies, Ralph Lauren and all that lot, and Tommy Hilfiger, or whatever it's called.
Nicely done. I can never do that.
Yeah, I know. I've moved a go. I've taken leaps and bounds. I've taken advice from Kevin Magnussen, and he had the poorest rating this week because Magnussen got 1.
And he was 13th in the race as well. Not a great race for him in Racing Point.
He's turning into his father. Me and your mum was just saying that Kevin looks like his dad, and honestly, Magnussen has been let down by Haas. But they have upgrades, according to Kevin in the press conference.
Excellent, going into Baku. Now, I think we're 14th, aren't we, on the grid? Yep, for Carlos Sainz I forgot, he's in McLaren, isn't he? So he's the highest McLaren. And that car, me and Ted said in pre-season testing that it was getting better, but a poor race from this weekend.
Yeah, driver rating of 2 from Megan.
Antonio Giovinazzi, sorry, Crofty, is next up. What's Megan's rating for that one?
Well, you see, Crofty gets pronunciation wrong because of the fact that he's Crofty. And so it's he got a 3 because he's trying.
Next up was George Russell as well, the Mercedes third driver and Williams driver. They were 2 laps down. However, just proves how much quicker he is because he actually passed Kubica about 4 times in that race.
The Kings Lynn Tornado, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Kings Lynn are proud of him, just like they are a certain other person who's on Sky.
Not this weekend, though.
But no. And he also misses the one when he's got to be the boss of the flower show, hasn't he, at Sandringham? But Georgie Russell got a 3 from Megan. And his colleague, Kubica, got a 3 as well.
And out of the race, Lando Norris, and he went for a bit of a flying trip on the opening lap. That was a bit of an interesting one.
Norris is one of those guys. I've watched Norris since he was in Ginettas, and he'll get there. But at the moment he's learning, and he's not as good as Russell anyway, I don't think. But I'll tell you what, we've got Russell, we've got Norris, and we've got Albon. And I'll tell you what, Lewis knows he can't go on forever. But we've got a good future in them 3, haven't we?
The future of the British motorsport is definitely secured, especially we've also got Jack Aitken coming up as well in Formula 2 this year. We're keeping an eye on him. The Torpedo. Danny Kvyat, Megan's put as well as Torpedo. Now, he came back. We all said, this is going to be his last chance. He didn't waste much time, did he? 3 races before the Torpedo was back, hitting not only Carlos Sainz, but the other McLaren of Lando Norris and sending Norris into the air. What was Megan's rating for that one?
She gave him a 3, but the Torpedo is back for a 3rd go because of the fact that, well, his future father-in-law was a world champion.
Yeah.
And his brother-in-law was a Formula One driver, and it's sometimes who you know, but he's matured a little bit, and I think he's been doing well. I'm with Johnny Herbert there. I think he's improved.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know or weren't watching throughout the broadcasting weekend, we mentioned this on race day commentary, didn't we? But I don't think it made the highlights. Danny Kvyat and his girlfriend or fiance is, which one is he? Katie PK, is it?
Yeah, it's the younger daughter of the Piquet. It's Nelson's youngest daughter, isn't it?
Yeah, 3-time champion Nelson Piquet.
She's pregnant.
Yes, thank you for getting that. But easy taking tips from Nelson, because we know how bad Nelson was in Formula One against Nigel in '87. So I wonder if that's an interesting family meal.
Well, he's not taking tips from Fabio, is he?
Definitely not. And last on the race in 20th and out of the race on that 3 is Nico Hülkenberg. What was Megan's rating for that one?
I think the Hulk has lost a bit of interest, and I think he could do with changing teams next year.
Yeah. What was the rating, sorry?
4.
So that's the ratings done.
I disagree with that. Have I got it right?
No, yeah, it is right. Megan's put 4 down.
4 for 3 laps.
I know. I think she must have been looking at something else. But she is ill, remember. So, yeah. Megan, hopefully, will be back with us this weekend in Azerbaijan. However, I hope she is, because she's got to commentate on qualifying 3. So if not, that's going to create an issue. But Azerbaijan is next. Hamilton leads the title. Now, we've watched the press conference, and we know that we've got a penalty. Anything looking forward to this weekend?
Well, one of the big problems with the press conference was its lack of anything. 15 minutes, 15 minutes at a press conference when you've got 4 drivers. That's a poor show from the press. Just because none of them were top drivers, 2 of them are midfield drivers, and 2 of them are kids. It shows some enthusiasm. So, I never even heard a certain German that I always hear.
Oh, yes.
Racing Lines.
Yes.
Who asked great question, Dieter.
Dieter Renken. I should remember that, because I was speaking to him in Barcelona as well. He was on the phone. He was already planning out. He's got the busiest schedule of anyone on the F1 calendar.
He often asks the questions that they don't want to answer. And he wasn't even there yesterday. I never heard him. Anyway.
Oh, well, Marshall, who is the FIA media man, always shrugs his shoulders when neither Dieter Renken's got it. So this weekend, it's the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Hamilton leads the title. Bottas is second. Ferrari are hopefully back. But it's a bit of a change around, because there's no Martin Brundle, there's no David Coulthard, and there's no Jack Nicholls. So all 3 broadcasts have changed. And if Megan's not well, all 4 with us as well. But we'll be back for the Thursday preview on, Thursday, what's the date? I can't remember. Well, let's see, 21st, Sunday.
Working from your birthday to, it's about the 26th.
I think it is the 26th. Yes, it's the 25th. It's the 25th. So we'll be back on the 25th of the week for the next one on the Thursday preview. We're still not very well. We'll get it together in Azerbaijan. From us all here, though, bye for now.